There it is. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Christ.
Hello everybody, and welcome back. I know it's been a long, arduous month, and the same has been for me. I have been kind of trying out new bits and pieces. I know I said in my last video I wouldn't try any bass lure fishing and I'd stick back to the bait and but the thing is, unfortunately, somebody filled me with a little bit of optimism, a little bit of hope. And what ended up happening was that person told me that there was a 60 centimeter bass caught on a lure and a mark somewhat close to me. So I've been chasing them, and I mean really chasing them for the last 3 weeks consistently, non-stop. And then I realized after maybe 3-4 days of not catching anything, I said I'll do a little experiment and I'll try see if I can kind of work out a little flow chart on how you should be fishing these bass early season and how to catch them. I'll come up with some kind of, interesting conclusions, and I've managed to generate a lot of strikes from a lot of things which I didn't think I'd be able to do before. And I think we can start talking about a behavior that the bass do, especially early season, which I think they do now more than they ever have. So you have that to look forward to, and you have that to be excited about. And don't worry, obviously, there's a nice big bass at the end of the video, so it won't be a waste of time for you either way. So strap in, get your popcorn, get your tea, get your biscuits, and let's get on with the video. Our journey starts about a month ago, just to the day. And I was just out fligging some lures out here. We had a low pressure system coming in and actually started raining during this video. And I felt as if I could get some bass. And I just felt it in my soul. And listen, obviously didn't catch anything, otherwise I would have updated a little bit sooner. And then the next day I ended up going to this place here, which, if you recognize just from the rocks alone, fair play to you. Normally you tell people to, go outside and touch grass. I probably recommend that you should go inside and go on the computer. But yes, anyways, I was fishing this mark here, and this is the spot at which the gentleman told me 60 centimeter bass was caught on lure, and this kind of ignited me big time. Obviously I had the bass rod with me today, the spinning rod there on this day, and it ended up being a dud. Ended up being a 5.5 hour, 6 hour dud. And it's just unfortunate sometimes when these things happen. You can plan it all out and it just won't work out. By the way, I tend to talk through all these, but obviously I don't end up actually releasing them. So these kind of recordings just end up into the ether. If there is interest for this kind of stuff, just these days that are kind of just total duds where I talk about structure and everything else as I walk through it, I'll upload them. But I don't want to saturate the channel with too much low quality stuff. I've got a feeling like my audience, you guys really want to kind of know exactly what's going on, be given the information, be shown the fish, a little bit of excitement, a little bit of fun here and there. But I'm really here to kind of teach you and show you how to catch the fish that you've been looking for, kind of put you on a better path, put you on to kind of build a more solid foundation so that you can kind of apply this anywhere in the world. So, I don't want to saturate the channel with too much low quality stuff. But anyways, this spot here, this was a dud. I then moved on to here, and then here I just did a good bit of waiting as well. Waited around for about 6-7 hours, and the gentleman who rocked up next to me, he managed to catch literally probably the smallest schoolie bass I've ever seen in my life. About the distance from the top of my thumb to my pinky, like incredibly small, like so small I was surprised that it took the lure. So that's how this day went. And to not bore you, I basically had a repetition of this every day for a good few days, continuously, until I had this very, very interesting nighttime session. I'll show you that here.
I reckon actually this would be pretty alright, because I can now cast kind of into and through this gully, and kind of through it like that, which would be good. Now I need to keep an eye on the time. It's 9:52, so I need to kind of just make sure I don't get caught up by the tide. But let's start some fishing. I've got the black Savage Gear V2 on. I'm gonna start it like that. I'm still just sitting on this rock. I'll just turn on the red light just so you can see. just sitting on this rock still, just really slowly working that bait. I'm kind of bouncing it a little bit. I'm trying to work all the kind of bits of the water column. I'm trying to work on that upper bit right now, and then in a little bit I'll put on the pintail, which is a little bit more subtle and a little bit slower. I've said in another video that I did, but I don't know if I uploaded it, that you should kind of go from your rattly kind of explosive lures in descending order down to your very, very quiet, very unassuming lures. So lures like the pintail do actually have a place, and I've been in denial for this kind of thing for a long time, because I kind of didn't really want to believe that you do, you know, need all the lures that you get. Now, you know, need is subjective there, but you know that they fill a role that another lure there in its place wouldn't fill. So you should kind of start with your kind of rattling heavy lures. So that's why I was using that plug all the way through, and now I'm using another. I've got a rattle on this V2, and it's got a belly weight on it. Now it's a 3 gram belly weight, it's not a big deal, but and I'm just kind of working it normally. You can see that. Oh. Okay, all right, let's see now. I always get surprised by how well these things cast. They cast really, really super well.
Looking back, I can see that it's not very obvious kind of what happened there. But I ended up getting like a very, very subtle, kind of unmistakable fish strike. And it was very strange. It felt like it came in from the side and brushed it off. And I was so kind of like, you know, I was excited obviously, because you can see I was moving my lure the whole time, and I had my rod tip up quite high. There was quite literally no way it could have been struck by a rock or anything, considering I'd cast it there a good few times before I had shown the clip of me doing it there. So it was rather surprising that this happened. It kind of had this kind of brushing off effect, kind of if you think about two ships and they pass, you know, port to port, and they kind of glance off each other, but obviously in this case I got a hit, you know, I got some kind of a connection. So I thought this was very, very strange. This is the first time I had this happen to me. And it's the first time I could, like, especially like document it, that it happened to me. Although document kind of a loose term, considering you guys didn't see much of it. But this kind of started the gears turning in my head, and this is kind of where I started thinking about, you know, maybe I should be slowing down my retrieve a lot. And yeah, here obviously I swapped to a different lure. So I just ended up swapping from the dark color to a lighter color. And the rest of the evening kind of went on as you would expect. Nothing really of note happened. You know, when you're fishing like this at nighttime, especially when you're out with the waders, you're trying to be basically amongst the fish, you have to have your head torch off. So the video would look like this, basically, for the entire video. And apart from the little times where I was like, oh, maybe, you know, maybe something is there, maybe something isn't there, where I felt like I heard a little bit of an extra splash or whatever. It was really, really nothing really for that whole night. But this would then inspire me, and that little strike would inspire me to then come back another night. And I started getting more of this sort of behavior, but of it kind of being on the bottom. I'll show you what I mean now in this next clip. I explain my technique and how everything goes, so tune in.
I'll show you what the technique is, because at a certain point soon enough you won't be able to see the technique anymore. But I'm effectively just going to be moving it at that speed. So just watch my hand there. And I'm going to be doing this for a while. And especially at this time of night, if there's something here that wants to take it, it will. Also, I'll be incorporating a little bit of dead sticking, which is where you effectively don't move the bait on purpose. and just let it sit there. It's very, very useful when you have your lure all scented up, because obviously you're going to get some of that attractant just from that. And when they take like this, when the bass take in this way, it's like, oh, I'm snagged. Oh, fuck, I'm snagged. You pull it up and then the snag starts running away. So that's what that feels like.
Now I continued to do this for, basically what felt like an eternity, because I was getting nothing, like zero, nothing, niche at all. And it's nice and all because you can feel the lure kind of floating, but I was getting nothing. So I sat down, I was bored. I went on my phone, and I just kind of I let the time go past, and I wasn't really looking, and then this happened.
Man, I wasn't getting anything at all. What's it gonna be now? Nothing, of course, to show for it at all. I was just like, I was so fed up that I went on my TikTok. I was like, okay, cool, let's keep moving this nice and slow. And I just got, and I started reeling it, and gone. Oh, I had the rod proper up like that as well. It's unmistakable. Well, I'm only going to be here for another, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. So let's hope he shows up again. It's so frustrating sometimes because I've been, fishing for about 2 hours straight, very actively. And you just put it down for just a few minutes there, just to go on your phone, and then bang, that's it. So I'll let you know how it goes. I can feel something like every now and then when I dead stick it, and I keep it completely still, and under tension. Every little bit I get an undoubtable little bing bing, like a little something's kissing off it, but whatever it is very small. So I'm not feeling too hopeful.
And I would turn out to be correct, unfortunately. I then had this happen to me over a couple of days, where specifically when it came to using like weightless soft plastics, or even when I was actually using weighted jigs on the seafloor at nighttime or in the evening, I felt like I had this kind of mouthing going on. It's unmistakable. When you fish for a long time, you can kind of know when it's the wave and when it's the current and when it's whatever. And at the start you can really easily get fooled by this, but after a long time you'll learn to feel what a fish feels like and looks like, and you'll learn to know what the rod action, especially when you fish a long time, how it appears when a fish is mouthing it or striking it or taking it. And it was just I couldn't shake it. It's one of these things where if I try to explain to someone, they go, yeah, I'm sure, but I just knew within myself that it was true. So I had this occur to me another couple of times, and I've just been really, really stuck. Now, I said I would go back to and explain why I think the fish weren't actually taking it. And I think the reason is because I didn't actually have a scent on my lure at all. And maybe I think even my profile was a little bit off. From what I can understand now, and what I'll explain a little bit more near the end of the video, but I don't want to spoil, is the profile of my baits has been kind of off, and also there's been no scent. I've ordered some scent in now. It'll be a while coming. I got some Procure shrimp gel, so I'll have that to test for you next time, and obviously I'll update that in the compendium near the end of this month. So I knew that the bass were there, and I knew that they were on that position. It just intuitively felt it. So I would go out, and I went out with my bait rods and everything else, and got some ragworm. Some gentleman actually gave me some ragworm. I went with some shitty prawn, and I fished that, and then the darndest little thing happened. I was getting nothing all day. I started at about 6 o'clock. Sunset was about 9:10, and slowly but surely, maybe this happened.
There it is. Oh Jesus. Oh Christ. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is the one. It's the one I've been looking for. This is the one I've been looking for all day. This will be a number. Just keep that rod tip high and keep that tension on. Drag is about perfect. I can feel that kind of pulsating there. He's ran to the left there. Let's bring him in nice and close there. Up, 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 up. Up, 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 up. Wants to run the other way. There we go. That's a good bass. There we go. There she is. Beautiful, beautiful bass. There's that bar of silver. How are you doing? Gorgeous. Delighted with myself. And as you can see, it's that tiny hook. It's that tiny hook there, the size 8, just there, just about in the size of the mouth. And that's all she wrote there. Time to get her measured up, get this hook out, and show the gentleman who landed me the bait for her. There we go. Grab this baby by the tail. It's very lively. Grab that hook very carefully, and out she comes. Bass in general are fairly hardy from my experience, so they should be completely fine. Sorry, mister. You lent me the bait. I don't know if you want to keep her or not. I'll let her go if not. But you lent me the bait for her, so I thought if you want her,
100%.
you want to keep her, yeah?
Oh, it's brilliant.
Not at all.
Thanks very much.
Oh, don't mention her. Do you want me to cut her for you?
Fantastic. Oh,
Yeah, no, careful now.
yeah.
I didn't measure her yet. I was just going to measure her there now.
Have you got a measurement? Have you got a tape?
Yeah.
Did you get much?
Which
Other
one?
than that, did you get any more?
No, that's the only one I've got. This gentleman here has been catching them all night.
Oh no, not.
Oh, Frank,
Not like this, I haven't.
Tell me that.
Right.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Okay.
That's right past mine.
What do we have? 40 centimeters.
40, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're good there.
Oh, no, we're 100%.
Yeah.
No, she's a keeper, all right.
Some little kids saw the big fish and then ran over, had a little look. I thought their questions were very good. Obviously, I've put the video in a way that you can't really see the kids' faces and everything else, so just thought you might like this.
There in the front.
My daddy would love to eat him.
Don't
Why
touch
is
his
he
back.
not blinking
He's
him?
spiky. He's got a spiky back.
Why is he not blinking?
Why is he not blinking?
They don't blink.
Oh, don't pet. 'Cause
Darling, don't
I
touch
want you
it.
to get a sore hand.
Look, you can touch him there, love. You can touch him there, love.
Touch him here, but don't.
Do you know what age that is?
I don't know. I don't know at all.
Can I put him back in the water because he's supposed to stay there?
Gotta go back down a few minutes.
Oh,
We'll go back in a few minutes now. We have to measure him first.
Why do you
So-
measure him?
Let me just double check it.
He's got him right now. Don't
So-
touch him.
20.
He's flopping all over the place.
I'd say you're on.
42.
42, is it?
42.
Yeah.
Did I assume correct that you were looking for a dinner, were you?
Okay.
Yeah, I left my weighing scale at home. So let's see what he's at.
Is it right?
3 pounds.
£3.10. Not bad.
Penny.
Cute one.
3 pounds for the
Will I gut him for you then? 'Cause I've got all the stuff.
If you want.
I've got all the stuff on me. Hey, love.
Oh, that's brilliant. Brilliant over there. You got that on rag, did you?
Yeah.
When it comes to gutting the fish, I always like to start just by making an incision just between the two gills at the bottom. They have, I forget what you call it. Basically a big, I don't know if you call it a vein or an artery. I forget exactly which one leads to the heart, which one leads away. But basically, a lot of blood goes through there. That's the blood that goes to their head. And I like to kind of pop that open just gets all the blood out of their system. Um, Especially when it comes to certain species like bluefish, it's quite a big deal. You just have to make sure you bleed them quite well. There's like a very fishy, horrible kind of taste that comes if they're just full of blood. So you have to clear them out like that every time. So in the meantime, as I did that, I ran back and recast again. I was obviously using ragworm. The ragworm were all kind of dying and whatever, and this was literally my last cast. I will now warn you just in the upcoming segment, if you don't like gore and this kind of stuff, I would definitely look away. Not too bad. I'm just, gutting and cleaning up the fish. And this is kind of the point at which I kind of put two and two together, why I think the bass aren't actually striking my lures, especially not the fast and energetic ones, when I find out what's in its stomach. So we have that to kind of look forward to here. Right, so here that comes down. Content warning: if you don't want to see blood and that kind of stuff, I reckon you look away, or the insides of an animal, look away. If you do, I suppose, here we go.
There's the belly there. I'll open the belly up there in a second. We can have a look. There's the lungs. There's the shit sack. Look, there's the belly. That's what she's been eating. Full of parasites, as per.
What a what?
Parasites.
Oh, right, yeah.
See what she's been eating. It's hard. I can feel it. It's cuttlefish. She's been eating cuttlefish.
Cuttlefish?
Yeah. I always forget how to... Do you remember? How do you get this one out? Don't you pop this?
I'm not sure.
Or does the missus do it at home? Let's see. That's it. Oh no, I think that's the air bladder. That's okay. All right, look, that's all the guts out. You've got a little bit left near the front. Well, that'll just require a little bit at the kitchen sink at home. That's that basically set. We'll see. Let's now have a little look.
See what's in them.
Yeah, I can feel it's cuttlefish bone, 100%. So that's it.
There, yeah.
That's a cuttlefish bone. And there's a... So look, so she's ate their little... She's been eating...
Whiting or something.
That's a whiting, I think. That's what she's been eating, yeah, little whiting. So two little whiting there. Oh no, that's a flatfish there, look. Yeah. Really small flatfish fry. And then... There we go. I just need to wash my fucking knife. You wouldn't happen to have a rag, would you? Or anything like that to wash my hands? That's okay. We'll sort it out.
So, now I move on to my conclusion. I feel like, now after looking inside of its stomach, seeing it's all full of very, very small flatfish, which inherently would be quite slow. Like, flatfish aren't particularly that fast, and especially small flatfish are quite slow. I've got a feeling that the bass are still kind of in that very, very, very picky phase, where they're not going for stuff that's fast. Definitely not. The only thing I've had a strike on that was moving sort of fast was a pollock. And even when it comes to all of our soft plastic baits that were moving kind of slowly along the bottom, they're kind of mouthing them. Now, I don't have a video of the rods when this happened, but for a lot of the day I was just getting this it was just unmistakable. It was like this very, very, very disinterested little touching of the bait. And it was kind of repetitive, and it was very annoying because I kept thinking, you know, is it all gone? You know, what is the case? It was almost like a crab, but not quite, because there'd be points at which there would be a serious like tug at it, and then we'd just go back to nothing, and kind of had that a little bit here and there. And I think what that was that bass was kind of catching itself a little bit in the bait and then letting it go, and then coming back to mouth it again and coming back multiple times. If you had told me 2 years ago that bass exhibit this sort of behavior, I would not have believed you. I would have said that that is total bullshit and whatever. But when you feel it on the lure, and then you go out and you repeat it with the bait in the same place, and you see the same kind of stuff, I was at certain points kind of holding the line with my finger, and kind of expecting almost to feel nothing, and I would feel that same kind of mouthing feeling. It's particular. It's very particular. And yeah, so obviously the bass are not quite as energetic still early season. I've managed to prove that. I've also managed to prove that they're going for very, very slow stuff. So let's finally move on to my conclusion. The bass are still taking baits that are very slow and smaller in profile than what we would normally throw out on spinners. I know, sure, you can get a fluke here and there, like the guy who was next to me and caught one with a Sand Duel V2, but in general, by and large, I've done hours and hours of this kind of bass spinning and tried multiple different selections and methods and everything else, and the only thing I've managed to produce, you know, consistently is this kind of mouthing feeling. So plastic baits moved at a very, very slow speed around the bottom, and even, surprisingly, metal jigs do seem to generate some kind of strikes and some kind of mouthing and brushing from bass. Now, in the next video, I will hopefully be able to turn that into something else and apply it with some scent and the creature baits and everything else and and hopefully manage to turn this into actual takes and fish landed. But for the time being, what we've managed to prove is that still, even at 11 degrees temperature in May, that the bass still aren't quite as energetic as maybe some people would think, or as they might be in some other places. Remember, bass fishing specifically is always incredibly local. What Henry Gilby's doing on one side of the planet and what somebody else is doing in Cornwall, Scotland, and everything else doesn't always relate to you, and it's important to kind of find these things out on your own. I'm sure if the majority of people went out and they were fishing for about 2 weeks straight and didn't manage to get anything, they would also give up and they'd just go, alright, I'll just go to wherever Henry Gilby's fishing recently or whatever. But please, 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 I implore you, with a sense of adventure, explore your own waters, explore them how they're meant to be fished. A lot of mine are surf beaches, so they fish totally different to estuaries, totally different to rock marks, everything else, so there's always some excitement there. This was all actually started as an investigation for my Angler's Compendium, which is my monthly fishing magazine. If you guys enjoyed what you saw today, you enjoyed this kind of in-depth fishing explanation stuff, then please subscribe over there. Thank you all very much for watching. Tight lines, God bless.